You know, Hispanic voter turnout is ridiculously low.
Yeah.
A lot of times I've actually been told that it's so low that it doesn't really garner any attention from some elected officials and candidates and things like that, because they count the potential votes and they just don't
Exactly.
add up to much.
Well, and you know the problem is that when you got so much money in a campaign, only so much money, and you got to target it where the most of the votes are.
Mhm.
So that says that maybe targeting
The
Hispanic.
budget controls it more than
Yeah, the campaign budget controls it more than your wishes. And then the other thing it's a problem is that, for example, in the Rio Grande Valley, if you spend money on primary, like TV or radio, the problem with that, there are a lot of Hispanic voters that will vote for the Republican candidate in November, but in March and April during the primaries, they're going to be voting in the Democrat primaries because that's where their JPs and district judges and county officials. So you waste your time. You might be wasting your money in the primary, but you wouldn't be wasting it in the general. For example, George W. Bush got 49% of the Tejano vote in Texas. I think he carried El Paso County when he first ran for governor, or maybe re-election. I can't remember which one it was. So I think the problem is it's just a matter of, it's not intention, it's just that I got limited resources, and I'm going to go to the the vote-rich environment, and some of the more, like El Paso County, everybody votes in the Democrat primary because they want to elect their county judge, but then they go vote, many of them vote Republican in the general.
Well, what would you say to Hispanics that are not in the Rio Grande Valley? Just those, who are just lazy and sitting on the sofa.
Yeah, that's the majority of the population. We keep thinking about, well, where are we going to go with the Hispanic voters and Tejano vote?
Yeah.
Well, Harris County. It's where they are.
Dallas.
Just by number.
Yeah,
Just by
absolutely.
pure numbers. And
but we're not showing up on
country.
election day.
This is your country. This is your country as much as it is mine. And you have, the interesting thing about Tejanos, they have a strong pride in service to country. I mean, when I was in the Marine Corps for 24 years, I served with a substantial number of Tejanos, and they were good Marines, and they were proud of it, and some of the best Marines.
Mm-hmm.
There's a disproportionate number of Tejano Marines who have received the Congressional Medal of Honor. It's disproportionate to their numbers in the ranks of the Marine Corps. They are, and so those are the people, that you're voting for, that young man and that young woman who are wearing a uniform right now. It's not fair. It shouldn't be that they serve the country, but then don't make the choices that point the country in the direction that they wish it to go. That's
A lot of them are told that their vote doesn't matter anymore. They've kind of bought into that.
Well, I mean, their vote is no. What's my vote? That's one. I got one vote here. Somebody listening to this has got one vote. So I think that's it's a cop-out. But it's not. It is your duty as a Tejano in Texas, when you consider how many young men and women have worn the uniform, as my son is doing today, as I did in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
When you consider how many Tejano young men and women are wearing uniform, it is your duty to vote. And if you do not do that, you're abdicating that duty, and you're letting down those young men and women who are fighting so you have that right to vote. You need to do it.